watcher. Yeah, so I say that television production and video production, there are similarities. Let me say television production is part of video production, right? But if you would think about television production as something special, it's going to be a separate thing because mainly, if it's television production, it's meant for the audience to be published, published or broadcasted. In general, you talk about the crew members, the production crew. You talk about that at the beginning, that the people that are involved, because the same people are going to be, or personnel are going to be involved with it if it's going to be television production, whereby they are making something that is meant to be broadcast. So we have got a certain lineup of individuals from the top, which is like from the hierarchy, and the top being the top guy going downwards. If you appreciate these different personnel, it's where you can see how this the production is like, how complex it will be. If you are now considering material that is going to be even used for the mass media or mass production or broadcasted or published in the mass media, unlike for personal purposes. So production is generally not considered a department as such, but rather as a series or functional groups, right? So these include film producers, executive producers such as talking about production manager, the production coordinators, and their assistants, and various assistant directors and the like. So usually when you have the production, they are called sometimes a production crew. Sometimes they say usually, or sometimes they say production personnel or production crew. But when we say production, we're talking about video production and the inclusive, because as I'm saying that we're going to have television production in it. So as we know, at the top you have the director. The director is a guy. Is usually. Sorry. I mean, what am I saying? I don't know. I thought when you were going to stop me. In my head, I was saying the producer, but my mouth was saying a director. I don't know what was happening there. I cannot make that mistake. Okay. The producer. Producer is a guy like more or less like the top guy in the video production or in the production. Like if it's a film, you have a producer. A film producer is the one that creates the condition of filmmaking. Is the one that is going to lay down that is this film. How are we going to shoot this film? He's going to be the one who has the idea, who is going to tell everyone, okay, this film is going to be shot in July, because we want it to look like it's medieval time, so the sun is not coming out. So he's going to say everything about this, the production. The producer initiates, he initiates or she initiates, coordinates, supervises. So you can see all those initiates. When you say initiate, you're talking about is the one who is going to come with the idea of what you want to do. He coordinates. It means, making sure that things are going according to plan, you're working together the way you're supposed to be. He supervises, right? He supervises, telling what people want to do, and controls matters such as raising funds, talking about hiring key personnel, arranging for distributors, because if you're going to appreciate film, you're going to know that there are distributors in the process. So Okay. I've said that the producer uh, initiates, coordinates, supervises, and controls matters such as raising funds or funding. Or there, you can even write it in your own. The major thing you know that he initiates and then he coordinates, then he supervises, and he controls. Or initiates. Is it in spelling? Camilla, you don't know what it is called. Oh, in spelling, you know it.
Yeah, in spelling.
You know it, but you don't know what it means.
Yes.
Oh yeah, initiate is like, I mean, coming up with a concept, coming up with an idea. Could you know, like, there's an idea, then you are bringing that, you're making that idea to start off, to say, film without a producer, there's going to be an idea, maybe an idea there, but an idea alone could not turn into a film. So he's the one who's going to take that idea, to start that process to say, okay, we would like to use this idea to make a film. You see? So he's the one who more or less, like you can say, initiates would be like kickstart, to stay, something was just inactive, then he's going to make it to start working. More or less like if on the production, film production, it means he's going to kickstart the production process. So he's the one who is responsible for that. Without him, there would be nothing. So he's the one who starts the process, and then in the process is where you find that he will tell whatever is supposed to be done. He will coordinate the working. He will supervise, and there are going to be issues to do with the budget. So he's the one who's going to be controlling, and then he's going to search for funding. Who is going to be, where can you get the funds? And as I'm saying, if it's a film, quite usually this one will be in a film production. They are distributors because there's a compartmentalization, like compartments, I'm just saying. In production, in video production, maybe in film production, you don't do everything yourselves. What we see when you watch the movies, you discover that we watch, before the film starts, you see those adverts. No, let me say those logos that come. You see Disney. Disney, all those. So, like, when you have Disney, you could be a production company. They could work with, because most of the films, they are mainly done by what are called independent productions. So most of the independent productions are not that big. So to make a very huge production, film production, they might not manage maybe to fund it. So what they do, they collaborate with a big company. So what they do, this is maybe the production independent, they might produce the film, shoot the film, others will help in whatever. So bigger companies like maybe Disney, they are only distributors. Most of the independent producers, they don't have distributors. What they do, they will shoot the film. Now they'll find other people who are called distributors. They will just sell. They will sell the material. So some are just distributors. So as a producer, you are the one who is going to decide. Okay, who is going to distribute our film? You are being even right now. You see, they will tell you we have got a film only is going to be on Netflix. Netflix, they are distributors. They are distributing the material. They don't produce it. Usually, I know there are some other films that are saying maybe they are trying to evolve, but they don't usually make films. So, as a producer, you are going to decide, okay, who are going to be your distributors, apart from that. And also, the producer is involved throughout all the phases of the filmmaking process, from developing to completion of the project. So you are not going to be involved only at one stage. You are the person who is going to be involved from the beginning to the end. Because most of the personnel who are going to study, they have got a specific period. For example, if you are going to talk about a director is only going to be involved in the production phase. It's not going to be involved in the, usually it's not, maybe something, he could be around, but usually he's not around in the post-production and the pre-production, but in the production phase, because he's the one who directs the actual shooting of the film. But in all the phases, the producer is going to be there, because he's the one who knows what he wants, and if the director is not doing what he wants the production to be, he could even interfere. On the post-production, as we already is whereby you have already shot the film. It's a proper, like you are now putting the materials together. So it's most of the times editors, editors who are involved, the graphic designers who are involved. But now the producer is still going to be involved because he knows what he wants. He's the one who started the idea. So as you can see, that the producer is everywhere. From the beginning to the end, he's there. We'll just say that he's a film production god with a small g. You see? Because you don't put big G, just in quotes, and whenever you put in quotes, you don't use the big cards. Right. So what we mean is like, because he's everywhere in the production, from all the stages of the production. What it means, if you are trying to think about the roles of the producer, anything you can think about the film production, you can see that he's involved in one way or the other. Although you notice that there might be another important part to do with the director, because the director, as you see, is going to have the power to change one or two things based on what he's seeing. So on the producer, you have that one. What else does it do? Producer must be able to, or producers must be able to identify commercial, marketable projects. Because in Hollywood, if you can go on the internet and check maybe the most expensive films or film projects, the most expensive film projects, you discover that the most expensive film projects, most of them, they didn't generate much money as the money that was anticipated, let me say. Most of them, the ones that generated much more money, they had to do with having a very good director. Because the director, and it's even the job of the producer, because the producer is the one who is going to now to select a director. So the director is very crucial to the film. It's a film project. He is very crucial. Why is he very crucial? Because the director is the one that is going to translate the script. So we're going to talk about it later on, but I'm just saying he's the one who is going to translate the script, because the producer is the one who is going to, as I say, initiate the project. He is also going to be the one who is going to find a script writer, because some people, they say, why this film is like, you find films, I'll give an example, films that starred good actors, but it's a very bad film. And you say, why is this film, this is a very good actor, but why is this film a very bad film? Maybe they are really spending a lot of money. The problem is not knowing what is the most important element in the film production, because the most important element, storyline, is number one. If you think about the actual production, it's a film, right? What you are trying to do, all the money you are collecting, all the cash you are collecting, you are bringing in, everything you are doing, you are trying to tell a story. That's the bottom line. So if it's going to have a very bad story. Even if you have got a lot of money, even if you have got good actors, it's not going to make a difference, because the story is bad. So that's where also is your job of a producer again, to be so sure that you have got an idea, because the issue is to do with the idea you have, the story you have, and then you collaborate with the script writer. You choose the script writer, the one who's going to write the script of the film. Now, the script writer should be able to write a very good script, because the every other actors I know, famous actors, they turn down some films because if you ask them, they say, when I read the script, when I read the script, I didn't like it. Not even to say I went to them, no, just reading the script to say no, I was not inspired. But the script, I go through the script. I can give you an example, like if you have watched a film called Speed by Keanu Reeves. You know that film, Speed. I wanted to write in imagine. This is torture for us who runs over the border. But you know Speed, yes? You have seen it, whereby the bus has a bomber placed a bomb in the bus, and it was running, and he called those guys and said, okay, that particular bus should not travel below 50 kilometers per hour. If it goes below 50 kilometers per hour, it's going to blow. So you should make sure that you go there. So that film, eh? So it was a very good movie because of the main actor, Keanu Reeves. Eh? That guy, the John Wick guy. But now the second Speed, he was not there. The actress was there, but if you watch the second one, you are not even finished. It was a Hollywood. The first one was very good because Keanu Reeves is one of those actors whereby they can improvise. Eh? There are a few actors who don't just go by what the script is saying. They will read the script. They will find ways of making this script even much more better. Eh? They will even add up, and then most of these guys are the ones who do a lot of stunts themselves. Eh? Because there's a lot of stunting in Hollywood, which lies with us. When we watch the movie, we think like this is a very good fight. In Actors 5 says no wonder after those Hollywood movies, you see you have something like 5, 6, 7 minutes or 10 minutes of credits after movie. What do you think? What are those names? Most of them, you see, they're stuntmen. Even the smallest things that you see, you discover, you know they are themselves. It was a stuntman or woman. Yeah. So they do. So most of those people who use stuntmen, it's not that they're not that good. But most of the people the actors, they do most of the stunts themselves. They are the ones that are much more better. Like actors, talking about Keanu Reeves is one of them. Jackie Chan is one of them. Jackie Chan is saying he does all the stunts, not even part of everything you see. So there's him, there's so many actors, Sylvester Stallone is one of them, and others. So as a producer, you are the one who is going to, usually initially on the casting, you are also be the one who's going to bring out the cast to say, okay, I found a script writer, then you have a casting crew, then you have everything together. But as I'm saying, when you go to the director, things might change. Maybe the director might decide that no, this is not okay. But as I say, let's say here, you are going to be involved for the script. You are going to be involved in making sure the project is going. You are going to be involved as a producer to be sourcing the funds. You are also going to be involved to find the marketing strategy, because you need to. It's a business. So you need to know how are you going to market it. Okay, who are the distributors? Something.
You said, okay, not a producer, director, they're different.
Director, I don't want to say much of it because I will talk about the director later on. But the director, if you see a film and it's a very good film by what you see, that the action was good, everything, the acting was good. That is the job of the director. Because the director, what he does, can you have a conversation? Then you are having a conversation. And when you are watching it, you're saying, no, this doesn't. Now, what we see in Malayan movies, more than this is the one you can't get a this. So, as a director, you should be able to see this is not me. And I'm saying when they're doing filmmaking, the scenes we see, we think and then no. One scene, they could have maybe even 100 takes just entering the room and they'll be, oh no, this is not good. Can you do it again? They can do it again. No. When you enter, so what they do, all those things are kept. No, they don't delete them. They are kept. So that's why you see those that board, whereby they will lift a board, they will open it and say action. That board, when you go and look at it, there are details. There are details of the name of the film, the duration, maybe of the scene, actual scene, the number of take. Because if you do the first one, is the first take, second take, fourth, so you could be maybe you could have maybe 30 takes. So when you're going to the product editing, that's where the job is. You could have even the producer there. Maybe in the shooting places there was only a director and the crew. The producer was not there. Editing in post-production, the producer is going to be there to see. So you could be saying, okay, this is take 1, take 2. No, I think it take 15 is good. So you could decide, say, okay, let's take this clip. That's why I say when you are shooting, you keep the material, all the material are kept. But now you don't just have one shot. Director is the one who's going to be telling you, can you do this? No, you're not doing it, okay. So and he's the one who's going to visualize it, to say, it's going to take a script and read it. And you know the nature of scripts, like in Hollywood, is different with what we do here. Whereby in here we write most of the scripts. They write things that are practical. You know, somebody, you say, for example, there are people coming from this side, and you know that you don't want to go outside the door because there are so many people. The only way out is the window. But we are right here at the top of the building. How can you go out there? But the script is saying that a person should go through the window. So you as a director, you can find a way. How is it going to be made possible? How can I make this actor go through the window? You don't have a choice because you need to do as the script says. So you should find a way to say, okay, the camera should be this side, then you should go out the window. We'll put something out there. Then when you go out the window, you are not going to be seen. You are going to be suspended there. Then you take the camera, will go down. Then you will tell you to jump from that area. Then you combine the scene. It will look like maybe you just go up there and then you jump. That's how they think. Even most of the things that we see, whereby somebody's jumping from the roof. So they will put something there. Then somebody's going to jump from there. They will have a scene. Look, maybe, and then somebody will be jumping from a place like here. But now, if you put a camera down and the camera is facing up, it's not showing down. So it will show you in the air and the sky. You see? So when you are going down, they could just maybe even they will show you jumping. Then they could do anything. Either they will use active. There's a green screen. You heard about green screen. Green screen is everything. If there's a green, where there's a green, there's nothing. On TV, if you use we talked about it, is it chroma key? It's a software. Where there's a green, you can place anything using a chroma key software or technique. So you decide to say, okay, I will shoot the person from here to there. But the whole ground should be green screen. Then what you're going to do, you're going to have a video clip showing, taken from the very top of the building. Then you're going to place that shot where there is a green screen. So you're going to have this person jumping, but the down is going to be showing as if it's really from the top building. And nobody who is watching can know that it was not the actual top building. I've been seeing even go and check like the making of films like even Black Panther. Most of the scenes we see in Black Panther, like while they were somewhere else. It was in a room like this. If you saw Black Panther, they were somewhere. T'Challa came through a plane. Then the Queen Mother was somewhere there, but it was showing that there were buildings out there. That scene, it was a room like this. It was just a green screen out. The whole background was included using a software. So as a director, you are the one who can direct this. No one else is director. Who's going to tell you, okay, how it's like you should find a way. How can you interpret this scene to make, how can we make this scene to be in reality? So it's either you find a stuntman, because when you say stuntman, there are people in this world that can jump from the top of the screen like that, or building like this. They can do anything. So normal actor, you cannot do it. So you find a stuntman, you do that something. So you make them dress like the main actor. So you do that. So that's the job of the director. But we're going to talk about that. That's why I'm saying a producer is not more of doing the job of a director, but he's like the head, the boss, like the way it is at this campus, without the president, because I don't know what the role of the president is. But still in here, maybe the producer will be the president. Because if the president wants something, I don't think the register will say, no, I'll do something different. No. If the president says, this is fine, whether you want it or not, everybody down it's going to be the same. But he could accommodate if this guy at the bottom is trying to make the project to be much more better. So you say, okay. He doesn't even know how to do it, but just know that I want this script to be interpreted well. So let me find a good director. So he's going to find a good director, but he can't direct himself to say, I want you to do this. But he knows what he wants, which means if the director could make it different, like he could say, no, this is not what I want. Yeah, so that's so producer is more or less like the boss of the video production, whereby he's involved in all aspects. And usually, if you think about the funding part, because all the crew members, if you're talking about the crew members below, from the director, we have got a lot of them. We are going to talk about the camera person, this one is the actual director, a producer. Then we have got what is called, maybe you see, an executive producer. Maybe you've been seeing something like that in the music industry. We have got producers and executive producers. Right?
My manager, that was not music.
My manager. No. Managers, the name of manager is the same name as any manager you know. Manager of a company, in a company name so much, the manager is the same thing. Because manager, you have music production. When you say, if you come a company, you need general manager. It's producer, it's like a producer. Whereby my decision on final say is he's the one who tells you if you everything happens Muslim a person to blame, a main person is him. It's like many president. Sakana minister minister kugira kunchito iweyo uli mphamvu zokuti utakunjosa ntchito abesa kugira kunchito so ngati sona chose ntchito ndipo munthu apanga ntchito for you. Who is the blame? It's not the person, it's you. So the manager is the same thing. It's like the name is the same name, manage. Pali accountant ababa kumpanga manager accountant yazikira ntchito kuti no afuna salary awazana salary uyu pala wako daba. It's all the same thing. So manager or music is the same thing, whereby my musicians they don't know nyimbo za jambula sababu zote kuna kazi za marketing bwanji sasa so manager ujambo kana kuti akupanga time kuti afuna mtu agembe ma show ndikuti ampeze apa challenge ndi melaka imbe afuna kajambule nyimbo apanga agreement kutoka this studio melaka jambule au na kuti funding enda bwanji kuti ndama tezekeza kuti okay kuti mtu akafuna kupanga kuti so ama ngani kuti mtu oyimbo jambo kana the brand chifaka mbira kani manager ama ngana organized because they are being managed, let's just say that. And I think my real manager, management process, they need to have an idea of management. It's the same thing. For management, regardless of who manage what, it's my concept is like the same. How do you manage? It's like you make sure that you bring out the best out of something that you're managing. If it's a musician, make sure that you do things so good, musician should give out the best. If you cannot give out the best, it means you are poorly managing the musician. Right? So it says the managing thing is a new concept in my life. Musician, the manager one, because it's a new thing. College, we want a musician to perform at your place. You just contact the musician. Oh, I want you to come. He will come without even agreeing. Okay, the money, and then after the performance, you give the person the money. This money is too small. So why did you agree in the first place? So as a manager, what do? He does everything. If you call somebody, he make the agreements. Okay, if you are going to hire this person, this is the amount. Okay, how is it going to be like? Are you going to provide transport? So the musician is not even involved. It's just like these big guys, like the underlying company. They're just told, this month, this year, you are going to perform at these venues. They're just going to be given venues. Or you're going to be in Scotland, 10 venues. You're going to be in Spain. So what the musician have to do is just practice. Their songs. Practice. Go in the school, practice. They don't have to say, okay, where can I get the money for performances? No, they don't do that. So it's all about it. But the management, the manager as a post, it's just the same ideas, whereby somewhere. The producer, even here, what we're talking about, everywhere where you're going to find a producer, it's more or less like the same. The idea whereby the producer is the actual guy now who is making sure that if there is a product, he's making sure that product should come out as intended. That's what it means. So in this case, if there are people doing other things down there, and after everything they will do, he is the one who's going to make sure that the final product should be something that is good. That's what it means, right? So, like here, talk about when you say executive producer, you say an executive producer of the EP, which is like another part of the producer, but now it's another one, who is a little bit level. You say he's a producer who was not involved in the technical aspect of the filmmaking process in the original definition, but has played a financial or creative role in ensuring that the project goes into production, right? So usually when you have it's more or less like even in about films, a few films. I mean music. When they say executive producer, I've seen even in albums whereby they will say this album was produced by maybe Dr. Dre, but you see there's an executive producer. Executive producer usually is like there's a producer who is doing everything. Now there's like another guy who is now just overlooking from a far, just like overlooking. Not is involved in everything, but he's just ensuring that the actual idea that was intended is not even missed by the producer, and is the way it was supposed to be done. But he's not going to be involved in every stage like the producer. The actual producer will be the one involved in all the stage. But this executive producer might come maybe at the end of my stages. Maybe at the end of they have already maybe edited the materials, and then he's just seeing the product now. Maybe they are showing, okay, can you see this is what we have done? Right? So he will be the one who will be seeing the final product and say, maybe if you can do maybe one or two things. While the producer will be now involved in the actual one that they're studying, maybe editing, is going to be there to be seeing every stage. Right? So this executive producer is more or less like just the guy that is there, as it's saying here, is not going to be involved in all the technical aspects of the filmmaking process in the original definition, but played a financial or creative role, meaning maybe he will be ensuring the money is around or the creativity is there. Right? Although nowadays they don't usually have this executive producer guy. They just have maybe a producer because we have got a lot of these mini or independent films or what are called low budget films. Because it's funny, the so-called low budget films, when you think about Malawi industry, you discover that they will seem to be high budget. I don't know Malawi, the high budget film in Malawi that I had, I don't know now. The first one was they were talking about we spent something like 10 million something. 10 million something to make a film, right? Right now, I don't know, maybe they're doing about 30, I don't know if it's 100, watch out, that is it. But if you make something like $30 million film, that would be considered a low budget film. $30 million. It's not a small, when you're talking about 30 billion, so we don't know around 30 something billion. Eh? But in Hollywood standards, that would be a low budget film. Because when you talk about high budget films, for example, Black Panther, the budget that was given for production budget for Black Panther was 200 something million budget for making a film. But it paid off because after it was out, it generated over $1 billion. So you can see, we can say this to good marketing. When whoever did it, it was a good thing because you're talking about making more than what you invested. But if you check on the internet, you have some other films whereby they will invest more, but they will not get as much as what is anticipated. It will be the problem of the producer will be to blame because it's a marketing problem. How did you market thing? Right. So the thing is, just go back like they say. You have all this. You have this in terms of the highlight. I don't want to go back. Let me just see here. Okay, I'm seeing that here we have got some other small roles that you are going to have. When you go, if it's a film, if you go to a place whereby you have all those offices for the production, that place is going to go to be called a production office. At the production office is where now you are going to have, like you will have offices for people that are involved in the productions of that film. You will have offices for a producer. If there is going to be an executive producer, maybe it's going to be an office there. Then you're going to have other offices. So if you talk about usually, depending on how big the production is, if it's whatever, you might have assistants. So you might have a lot of assistants. Maybe the films, because some of the films, for example, the way it is Black Panther, talking about 200 million, just you already have the camera, you already have everything. Think about this. Something like maybe close to 300 billion watcher. Just the money to make a film. So you think how many people will be involved to spend that amount of money? That is not a small amount of money. So there are so many people involved. So in a production like that one, you have, because what they do with film, they don't like to say one person doing a lot of things. No wonder when you see this, the films credits. I don't know in Malawi if you have ever seen a film which took 1 minute showing the credits. 1 minute. You just a few minutes, few seconds, everything is done. Those are the people making the film, and they expect you say you can have a very good film like in Hollywood. It can happen. Hollywood check at the end. We usually switch off the film, but you have nowadays they even have the same screen, 3 lines, names going up. For maybe 10 minutes, the names are just going up. All those are the people involved to make this film. So those people are specialists. What they do, everything, they bring in specialists. If they want the job of the director, because they say you interpret what is on the script. So say in the script they say there was a fire coming out from the water. So you cannot say it's impossible. No. No one thinks it's impossible. But according to the story, it happened. So now you as a director, you should find a way of making that possible. So you say, it's okay. So then you say, who is an expert of water? Oh, there's this group. Okay, who is expert of fire? Then you find people who are experts to some other things. You think about it, how can we make this possible? Oh, they'll say, okay, we can do it like this. Then you engage them to make something possible. Then you have something else, maybe they will want to go somewhere where flowers are like this. Because sometimes, I think you know, we'll talk about like there's even what I call props director. Props director is like, it's not a matter of going places where there are already things there. You have seen that. You have seen films where they're talking about the Battle of Troy. Well, this is maybe 3 AD. Yeah, 3 BC. You have films whereby even the Lord of the Rings, you know that film. They will take you to a world as if it's not on earth, as if it's maybe thousands of years ago. And when you watch everywhere, it looks like as if it's not this time. So those films, most of the time, they had gone and the budget is big. They will have a props director, as we'll talk about later on, and even a costume director. They will design special clothes for the people. They will design now, they look like this, they could change it, take property and put some things in the wall to make it look like it's not a room like this. Maybe it look like it's in the cave somewhere. So they will take the trees, they would even create a city, a place where there was no city, to make sure that they look. I remember there was like one of the films that it was recorded to be one of the most expensive films. They created outside like a lot of statues, but they didn't make much money. But they spent, it was, I don't know, it was 1960 something, I heard, but because sometimes they say you have a film, you create things out there, like props, you create maybe clothes. So you as a director, you need to know that, okay, you are using that for a film. After the film, what are you going to do with all these things you have created? No wonder they had to have their plans even there. No wonder if you are with a company, most of these, independents, they don't work on their own. They work with big companies for a reason. For these companies, you find this, they will use the same material, they will use it for another film. Because you spend millions buying things to shoot a film, but after that film, are you just going to throw away things that you bought for millions? Doesn't make sense. So you have a company member, they will keep them, maybe they will use them another time. So I even heard like there was even a film, I don't know what that film. They even ended up in The Matrix. I think you know the Matrix movie. One of the Matrix, I remember they say they created a scene in a room. It was looked like a certain house. And they say the materials of that scene, they were used to construct water. Hey, they construct something else. I don't know if it's a building, I don't know. Just the leftovers of the material. So you have issues like that. So what I'm saying is that the roles we are saying, you could have assistants. For example, you have a producer, the assistant producer, maybe even 2 assistant producers. It will happen. So you have the production office whereby you have, like here talk about, you have, let's see what some of you have. Like here, you have the producer, the executive producer, and then you could have what is called the line producer. Right? The line producer is the liaison between the studio or the producer and the production manager responsible for the managing the production budgets, the title. So let me see what they're saying here. They say the line producer is the liaison or between the studio or producer and the production manager, right? Responsible for managing the production budget. So, I mean, you'll be having these people whereby, if it's a big production, that is, because you'll be seeing some of these things, whereby you could have a producer, but not the main producer. They will say a line producer, who is going to be doing the work of the producer, but on a lower level, not on the at the top level. So it's going to be the one linking with the producer, the main producer. Because there's some other, maybe there are a lot of works that are done happening. Now, instead of the actual producer being there, there could be another producer who is more or less like working as if it's an assistant producer. Because in the issues to have an assistant, if the actual person is not around or is busy, that person will do the job of that other person, but it will just link up. So you would have that one. You have, like here, talking about production assistant. Who is called sometimes they say PAs, and the name says production assistant. You see, assist in the production office or in the various departments of general tasks. because in the production office, I'm saying it's where you have all these people are there. Producer is the guy who's going to be involved in all the things, but an assistant is more or less like going to be helping again, assisting issues to do with the even somebody will be doing work with the director and see what's happening with the production. Then let me see here. You see that they could be even here talk about the production manager. This one is supervises the physical aspects of the production, not the creative aspect, but talking about the physical aspect. We mainly, you can even just know that it's not like the director, but it's actual just looking at the production and seeing only the physical side. You will be the one around. You can have an assistant. When you have a director, you have his assistant. You would have a production manager, an assistant. Let me see what else do you have here. You could have here talk about what is called a unit manager. Again, so just to say here, talking about the manager, talking about the production, this production that managers or production manager or the producer are more or less like the same side. If as I say, managerial way is more or less like the way what the producer does. So if we're talking about the manager and they're talking about the producer, we're not talking about the director yet, right? Then from the managers and the producer, then you have the director. The director is now the one who I would say that these producers and the manager, they more or less like, let me just say, they manage. They would have maybe been calling them managers. Because more or less like what they do, they manage. But the director, and by the name, as you can see, the director will direct the actual production. He's the one who is going to be working with the script writer and he's interpreting the script and the direct. That's why I say that the director usually is going to be found at the production stage. If you remember, say in the film production, or in the video production, you have got 3 stages: pre-production, production, and post-production. Pre-production, preparatory time. You are, having a script written. You are having characters coming. All those, that's pre-production. Everything you do before the actual camera starts rolling is pre-production. When the camera starts rolling, that's production. Everything. So this director is the one that is involved in when the camera starts rolling. Making sure that what is on the script is translated on the screen. Everything. Seeing and talking about it. So he works with everybody because when it's a film, we are going to observe that we are going to be having like camera person, which are people say camera personality. Camera personality, we're going to have the lighting director. Camera person is easy. You don't only know they are involved with the shooting, controlling, operating the cameras. Lighting director to do with the light, everything to do with the light. You have got the sound engineer, everything to do with sound is him or her. And then you have got the costume director, everything to do with the costume, the wear, the dressing. You have got the makeup, or sometimes they just say makeup artist. Makeup artist, because sometimes we are used to when we say makeups, we talk about the ladies. But in film, makeups are not only for ladies. Makeup is everything. It's like anyone could put according to the film. Because people will say, we want you to look like a street person. So they will make you look dirty, and they'll put you some other things. So that's makeup still. They will make you look like someone. So you have a specialist who are going to make sure that you look like that person, appear like that person. So like a director, you will have the first, the assistant, the directors, you have the director, the assistant director again, according to the production. So, as I'm saying, in all aspects of the production, you're going to have people involved. The good thing about the roles you are going to find in the video production, there's no complexity on what this person does, because most of the roles, the names are clear. As I say, makeup artist dealing with makeups, all the makeups that you have on TV. Lighting director to do with everything with light. Sound engineer, everything to do with sound. Props director, everything to do. Props is the materials that are used in the production. And what you just have to know that all these assistants could be there according to the production. You would have even the location manager. When you say location manager, every film is going to be shot on a specific location. Now, if you say, okay, this film is supposed to be shot somewhere, there's going to be a person who is going to make sure that, okay, that film should be shot, or even you can suggest, okay, with this film, where can we, where best can we shoot this film? So you can even suggest, okay, this film, if you can shoot this film in this way, or if you shoot it, as I said, that I like on what we think, whereby we can just take the cameras and start shooting. Video production or even film, you don't just go somewhere and shoot without permission. So if it's a film, the person who is going to be making sure that the permits are obtained from different locations. It's a location you manage. You have to go there with the location. First of all, if there is a location suggested, a person who is the location manager is supposed to be the one to go at that location first to see if it's a first place that is feasible, that a film could be shot. Because some of the places could be suggested, but when you go there, you discover that it's difficult, that it's not a good place. So there should be a person. So you could have this person who could maybe an assistant. So usually when you have a person, an assistant will just do the job on behalf of assist. Right? So you have a location manager, and you might have sometimes you have a location manager. And here say location manager works with the manager, and works with the location manager, which is our assistant. So let me say here, location manager oversees the location department and its staff, typically reporting directly to the production manager and the assistant director, or even the director himself. And the location manager is responsible for final clearing in terms of we want to talk about the location for a film, and they must often assist production and the finance department in maintaining budgets, managing regarding actual location and payment fees, as well as labor cost to production for himself and the location department at large. So usually it's just to so it's like when you look at it from the perspective of a big production, these positions that we could have like not one person. You have a location manager, and you have differently. For example, we could have, like I say, location scout. So a location manager maybe could just be the one who is going to suggest, to say, I think let's shoot this place, this production at this place, and then they will tell someone to go and check. So the actual person who go and check, that is a location scout, because it's doing this actual scouting. So you would have a production whereby a location manager would be also the person who is going to be scouting. Or if the production is big, you could have somebody who is going to be special for scouting. So you could have maybe 3 or 2 people or 4 people. Maybe somebody is going to be involved in scouting. Somebody is going to be involved in making sure that he pays the fees and the location fees if they are going to be payments. So if the other assistants are not there, you could just have a location manager who will do everything. But in the guide, because I say that it seems like it's a small issue, but there have been other production who claim power. Because when you talk about production, what it means, you should have cameras, you have a prop, everybody, transportation, money spent. So to go somewhere and discover that when you are shooting, somebody's coming and say, no, you don't have permission to shoot it. It's common in the developed countries. Because in our countries, because maybe you have got a lot of locations that are not that busy made. People could just go somewhere and start shooting. But when you go in these countries, they know that any location, because it's more or less like risk when you start shooting at a location where people they don't know. Even yourself, imagine you're shooting in a certain location, the community don't know that you come to be shooting. So imagine how people uncomfortable would be just coming from nowhere and start taking even the picture. No more picture. Somebody start taking a picture of you. What are you going to be saying? People are feeling comfortable. So people need to know that like what they're doing in Hollywood. You tend to wonder, there was a fight or there was an action in the street in New York. How is it possible? How the way New York is the busy way of New York. But what they do is the same thing. Wow, they have to go so they close the streets. They will say, we're going to shoot maybe this film along this street. So they will close it from both sides. So when they are shooting, because how do you know that? You will have something happening. When the film is really short, it means that there are cameras. So you tend to wonder somebody is walking in the group. There's no one who is sitting like looking at the camera. So how come if you just go in the street, place a camera, you can never say that people cannot ignore it. People will be interested in looking at the camera. What are you shooting? But you see, people are just moving, are doing their own thing. What it means? Everyone you see in that scene, it means he is an actor or actress. They are not ordinary people. It means that street was closed, like literally closed. All the people that were there were actors. So it's a job, as I'm saying, to know that okay, that is done. So this is the location guy, and that is going to do that. You have what else? And I think this is even talking about I talked about the script writer. The script writer is another person. So you could have a script writer. Then you could have talking about the script supervisor. Sometimes they just say script writer. Maybe script supervisor would be a person who is going to, like here, talk about also known as a continuity person, because as I said that in a film, if it's a film, an element of what is called continuity is more adhered to. Continuity is because most of these films we see, they are not shot in one day. There are so many days shooting one film. So because they shoot the films in one or so many days, it is important to have somebody who is going to be monitoring, because you shoot a scene, you stop, you continue another day. So if you are not careful, you will have inabilities. Because you shoot one day, sometimes maybe you forgot something. Maybe one is seeing somebody had the hair, then the person went to the barber and then they cut the hair, you didn't notice that. So when people are going to watch the film, they'll be seeing, this person was like this. So there should be somebody to show that, because it's for continuity. Meaning, when you add those different clips, it will be continuing as one stream. Then looking at as if there are different things. So you would have this person who is engaged in that one. Okay. Right. Yes. Right. So right here, just this is one of the few people who that are important is talk about script supervisor, also known as the continuity person. The script supervisor keeps track of what parts of the scripts have been filmed and make notes on any deviation between what was actually filmed and what appeared in the script. And they make notes on every shot and keep track of props, blocking, and other details to ensure continuity between shots and scenes. So I was saying this is script supervisor because I know it will depend again on how big because all these people are supposed to be paid. So if you have a script writer alone, then the script, because in a small production, it will depend. A small production, this job of script supervisor could be done by the producer because he's an overall guy, could be seeing the script. But in a big production, there could be a person employed for this to just ensure that what he does, he will see or she will see, look at the script and compare with what has been shot and what was on the script because it could be different. And two, make sure that there is coherence, let me say, between shots. The shot that was shot before and the other shot that is being going to be shot next to see that okay, it is connecting well. That is what is going to continue it. Because once the shots are not connected, there's a discontinuity. Now it's like as if you're not telling one story. It's a big issue. I gave an example that time that the continuity will depend on everything that was seen. Like if the shot was not finished, and then you are shooting something and you forgot one thing, it happens in films. I noted one film, if you watched Rambo, the first blood. I don't know if you have ever watched it. You know Rambo. How come you have never watched Rambo? What? Rambo is a famous guy. It's like you watch other movies, but this is Rambo movies, because the Rambo movies is Rambo, First Blood, Rambo 2, and Rambo 3. Those are the main ones. The rest of the Rambo that have been done now, that's useless. It's just wasting time for me. I don't even watch them. But if you watch Rambo First Blood, maybe you watch it maybe for First Blood was the ones like he came from like a war veteran. He went to town, he went to visit his friend, and then he was happy that he's going to meet his friend who he was with at Vietnam. Because they were talking that, I have a daughter, I have this, I will show you this. Then he went there, find his family, but he discovered the person is not around. Where did he go? He went away, why? He died. He didn't know that. So he went back to the town while he wanted food. So the way he was looking like the policeman saw him or asked him, where is this person? Oh, that place is here. Instead of taking him that place, he just took him out of the town. Why are you taking me out of the town? No, I don't want people like you. Drifter, something. So it was a story like that, and then he was thrown out of the city and he discovered, I was not going there. He went back to the town. The policeman see him and they push him around, arrested him for nothing. And then he's torturing him, and then he's discovered, I think these people are torturing me. He fought back and ran away, and he went to the bush, and then, so that was the first plan. So what was happening is like this guy didn't know who he was. He was a war veteran, but he was an expert. But the police were going after him. They were just surprised that this guy, even the way he escaped from the police, they locked the police cell, but he fought all the people there and he passed through so many police. How did he manage to come up? So they were going after him. No, this person is a criminal. Until his commander, who was a commanding commander at Vietnam, came and said, no. This guy, because he was at the mountain, it was freezing. No, do you know who are you? You are dealing with a war veteran here. This guy has been, used in Vietnam, doing a lot of things. So the best way, don't go up, just leave him. He's going to go away, you find him somewhere. Right? So there was a scene in that film. Yes. Huh? Oh, you are going to or somewhere? What is this? Okay, so you want to go where is that? 25. Okay, so you want to go there. Alright, yeah, but I don't think you have a long time. But if you are ready for time, then you can still go there. But the only thing is just keep track of what you have done. I think what I'm going to do, there's a document where is this? But I think you'll see what I've said to you. Some of the books, if you see like the video production book, the Millerson book, you're going to see there's somewhere production office. The production office, they're going to talk about all the people at the production, but most of the people. This one, that is a little document I'm going to send you, but some other places they are not much information. But you're going to just notice, they just added more personnel. But when you make sure that you follow, okay, we did this. No, I'm just talking about production group. Then make sure that you know who they are, and then they will continue the other. Okay? So, yes. Right. So what I'm saying, there was a scene in that film, what I want to talk about it. It was a scene whereby, why I like that film? Let me tell you how good that film is. If you have a film in which you can memorize even the conversation, all the conversation, you can even memorize the verbatim, and you can know that this person saying this as if it's a poem. That film has got that caliber. The way he was talking about Rambo, he was saying, no, Rambo, he's the place where he call hell, he call his home. And he says that, he has been in the mountain, he eats what he didn't go to puke. And the way he was saying, even the police officer, they were just like, astounded. He was describing Rambo, just because he was saying, no, this guy. You don't know who you are dealing with, a guy who is a war hero. No, I don't know my name. God said, no. So he started now explaining. This guy is like this. It's like, with the only way he was just at the war, it's like he was just told to kill, period. Yeah? So he was saying that you beat your man, but you didn't kill him. Yeah? You were lucky to be alive. Yeah? I said, and you talked and so you talked long, and you didn't even enjoy that. There was a certain corner, what was the corner? If you have watched it, you say you have watched Rambo 2 or Rambo 3. Okay. That corner I'm talking about is corner of Chomba. In Rambo 2, he was there. In Rambo 2, I think he was hired to go to Vietnam to locate certain soldiers that were captured. Rambo 3 is the one that he went to Afghanistan. When you saw that one, where he was running on the horses, so there was like those Russians, against Russians. But that general was still there. So it was the same guy. So he said he was supervising Rambo in Vietnam for a number of years. So he knew him well. So he was saying, this guy doesn't have any family. If there's a family, I'm the only one family he has, because he's the only person I can trust. You can't trust anybody. So it's like he was not there, but because it provoked. So I said, one of the dangerous things is he's good in the jungle. So you studied something in town. He has run into the jungle, and now you have found him in his stuff. So people say, no, we have too many, 200. You think 200 men that killed your men, but you are not defeat your men. So you just say, okay. If you think that you are sending that men, don't forget one thing. What? Body bags. That's what he was told. Eh? But don't forget one thing. Because when he went there, I didn't see that I think this is his place. I didn't tell him, no. Because he went there, he was able to cut the somewhere cloth because it was very freezing, almost snow. You find like just like a torn material, then cut it as a shape. Then he went to trees, cut trees and make some traps. And now so now these guys were coming, and now you go there. So you was just fine with them. You find one person, you just maybe broke his arm and he's leaving. And they will no, some of the guys, you go there, when they go there, you step somebody or steps on something, now you find this trap. And so even the people say, no, you know what? We are hunting this guy, but the way it seems like we are not hunting, but he's the one who is hunting us. Imagine. And he even reached to the table, the boss, he came to the boss, and he was killing him, but just tell you, no, why are you pushing this? So he was very good in the jungle. So there was a scene in that movie where he was, and I said that the soldier was telling, the Coca-Cola was explaining the ram. You see? And there's this issue continued I'm talking about. Because there was, where there were films that are done, they will show one scene, then they will cut, they will go to another scene, then they will go back to the same scene. So what happened? They were showing the same scene, then they cut. They showed another scene, and they went back to the same scene. But now, this first scene when they were being discussing, this policeman chief did not have a coat. But when they were coming to the other scene, it was shown that he had a coat. That's why I knew that this is the problem of continuity. People did notice it. We thought that I even studied the clips and said, can you check here? He was discovered, no, there was nothing. He didn't even go somewhere. He was not even shown taking a court. But what it means, the first shot was shot another day. That other one was shot another day. But because it was it was caught, the other day he came with the court. Now, whoever was seeing, they didn't notice that the first scene, there was no court. So for viewers who are monitoring, you can see, they would notice issues like those. Yeah, so those are the issues. And maybe that one is minimal, but some in other film could be a big issue. It could be a big issue. So, in terms of Malawian movies and local movies here, I talked about that. We have got the problem of continuity to do with the camera. Because this is the same part of continuity. Because this is the continuity of the script. The one I've said that the person did not put a code, that is to do with the script. Because the script would settle you that, okay, I say that you have those what are called storyboards. Storyboard, they will explain the script. So the storyboard, they will show how the scene is supposed to look like. Right? So if the storyboard is showing something, and the scene is not showing that, so that's why I say if you have a supervisor, a script supervisor, that is the role for him to say, okay, to notice that. And it's funny because I'm saying this film are not just short, they sent to the probably production, everything to like the final stage. There are people who came and review what has been shot. So that's the thing. And two, we talked about, I should talk about the director. If you think about the director, what he does, you discover that the director, he has got a lot of things that he does. Maybe most of the perplexing thing would be the budget, finding the money to fund the production. Because I say that all these people are supposed to be paid. And it's not a small issue in big production because there's an issue to do, I said in the pre-production, there's an issue to do with the contracts. You don't just start the production without making people sign a contract. Because when you sign a contract, whatever they will claim later on, you say, no, the money is not enough. You show them the contract. You sign it. This is how I think you'll even hear the way music company does. That people, most of the artists, they Clive Power out there, not in Malawi, but out there, whereby they will sign a contract and they will realize later on that it was a poor contract. But the problem is, they will sign a contract where they were unknown. So because they were unknown, they were not expensive. Now, after they got popular, because the government will get the popular, we will advertise them, and after they got popular and started receiving big money, they will discover that no. That was a very poor. I gave an example like if you know Bad Boy, this EDJ will go to Ghana. And you know the artist called Ness. I don't know if you know about Ness. Okay. If you know Bad Boy, I don't know any artist. If you know any artist of Bad Boy, I don't know why you heard about Bad Boy. But there was the 90s. If you have heard music of the 90s, R&B 90s, most of the artists then were popular only around 90s, in 1990, from 1996, 97, 98. Then we had a lot of artists from Bad Boy, right? Because they were the ones that it was the period whereby it was hip hop was popular. Now they popularized like hip hop fused with R&B. We had artists like some of that maybe you know them. Bad Boy had artists like Big Boy, Notorious B.I.G. was Bad Boy, Faith Evans. Okay, Faith Evans. There was a group called 112 or 112. There was an artist called Carl Thomas. There was a rapper called G-Dep, a rapper called Black Rob. We had artists like such as the Mary J. Blige. There was Mess. We had a group called The Locks. The Locks, if you have heard of the rapper called Jadakiss. Jadakiss was from The Locks. Jadakiss, Styles P was from The Locks. Right? So they were first signed by Bad Boy. But now, after they got popular, it's when they discovered that no, they was not giving them enough money, they robbed them the money. But the thing is, all those artists were known because of Bad Boy. Because they were under Bad Boy, they were promoted, they were every video shooting were footed by the company. So they get known. So I was saying, you discover people have been crying power. I think the one I'm talking about, Mess was the one, most of the films, he was side to side with the owner, which is P. Diddy, Pap Daddy. But he was just under contract. It was the company's, not his, it was Pap Daddy. But you discover after his contract, you discover that the album, that's how the company works. The album is not usually the artist. You find that a person has got an album, but the music is not his or hers. It happens that way. And you discover the person now is poor, but his music is still singing. Well, how come? It means what I call it the rights, the music rights. The rights are in the name of the company. So when they say the rights are in the name of the company, what it means, even if you sign the album, if you are poor, if you are broke, you are not taking that album and go and start selling it somewhere. You can't, because it's not yours. It's the company's. That's what it means. So people will be saying, but the problem is the money. They will tell you at the beginning, okay, you signed a deal, $5 million, and you are not artist. $5 million, that's a lot of money. And you think, and even really they has been accused for many artists. Most of the artists that were Bad Boys, they were exploited because most of them are poor. But they say, no. I think the problem will be is themselves. First of all, they sign a deal, a contract. And two, is they mismanage their money. Because, for example, if you are a person like you, you yourself, to give you $5 million, what is it? $5 million, if you put it behind a watch, it's somewhere like, it's billion watch, something like maybe 6 billion. So if you don't have 6 billion, if you are a wise person, you should have a lot of houses. Maybe houses, property, maybe company. But if you had something like $5 million, $10 million, and you know, the artist, for example, you saw it's worth about they say 700 million, then because you know he's worth about 700 million, you start thinking that 10 million, maybe 5 million, that's small. But if you are investing that's a lot of money. You say that you're not getting wrong. You still fraud around. But those people, they will spend those money, and because they promoted them to be appearing as if they are very rich. It's just a brand. Because I hear that even most of these artists, when you see other level companies, you discover that their vehicles, you see the videos, they are not even their vehicles. They will portray that they put cars, most of the hire those cars. They will hire them for shooting. After shooting, they will take them out. So the people, because of that, they will be wanting to believe in that life. which is pretending. There will be, you imagine, there are people out there whereby they will be using like car hires the whole year, walking into expensive vehicles which are not yours there, but the car hiring. So imagine if you can hire a expensive vehicle for 1 year, how much is that? So they will spend a lot of money through that. Hiring, whatever the company deal is done, they will climb far. No, like what the people Bess was doing. No, like I told people did that I want to buy the rights of my album. So I told him I'll give him $2 million, but he refused. So he was saying a lot of things. So the other people said, no. Had it been, India was wrong on this, or these people are saying it was wrong. These people, they signed contracts. So had it been, it was he breached the contract. They would have not even gone to the media. They would just sue him. Simple. Go to the courts. Tell them, why are they not going to the courts? Because they know that he was not on the wrong. Because they are the one who was not the wrong because they signed. They will just say, okay, this is why you say. Why did you sign? If you knew this was going to do with you, why did you sign? That's the question. So I'm just giving an example because that's now, you see, that is how important signing contract is. Because it's a film production, as I'm saying, you could have maybe, let me say, small production, then you produce, then if you don't agree how much you're going to give them, then maybe you sell, then you're making money, then those people are going to be start demanding a lot of money. No, you can't give us this now, you want this. So if you decide a contract, you're going to be in trouble. Because some people will reach that time, well, we didn't have this contract, they will say, no, you're giving a small amount of money, so what I'm going to do? You have shot the film, remove all my clips, remove all the clips where I am in. Well, you already shot the film. So then it's important, as I'm saying at the beginning, to ensure that everyone has signed this contract of what you're doing. And I do believe most of them, they have not just a full-time, it's not full-time. They just have this period in a specific period. Yeah, so it's another issue that is also involved in the video. But I know that because we see the final product, we don't think much about issues like that. When we watch the film, we think like, it's just a matter of maybe taking the camera and the camera for the shoots. But if you see the number of people that are involved and think that they are spending money, they're using talent, they cannot just do that for free. And to go away, to be at peace, you cannot just be giving them, like I think you have seen how poorly managed some of the music acts in Malawi where they call people, okay, we have the show, then they will tell them, no, we are going to pay you after the show. And they will agree about, they will go to the show, poorly advertised, very few people came around, then they're going to be telling now the artist, no, we can't give you that amount because as you can see, only a few people came around, so we'll give you. So we'll say, if people came around, who is to blame? Is it you who you agree because of the amount that you pay? So if it was poorly marketed, that's not your problem. So when the issues like that, people they have gone into whatever with issues like those. That okay, they agree. So if it goes to all those things, like as I'm saying, aspects of marketing, all the aspects. But if it's about the money, it means if you are, like let me say, the producer, you should be able to know that okay, we have these people and we have these contracts. It amounts to this amount. What it means, whether you are going to sell or not sell much, you should know that you are putting that amount you need to settle for those people. So when you are doing your planning, you need to know that even if the money, maybe you are not going to generate more money, but you should ensure that you find the money to give to the people you agree with on the contract. That's the thing. So it's another issue that also is there. So I would say, you see that the producer is going to be preoccupied with that much. That's why you will have what is called a casting director. What I was saying, the director, the producer was supposed to somehow be involved in casting, also the director somehow is also involved in the same one. So you could have a person who is specialist in the casting. Don't want to have this casting director whereby you say, okay, easy role will just be finding the proper character to play a certain role. To see the script, to say, okay, according to this role, who can play this role better? So you should move around to find a proper talent that can play that role. So you have that one. This is the casting director. The casting director is one that chooses the actors for the characters of the film, right? So usually involves inviting potential actors, and to read an excerpt from the script for the audition, right? So what's happening to these windows?